coisas, filtro de ar, ou seja,
Filters or yeah.
sim, sim, sim.
Hello and welcome to our channel, Portugal on a Shoestring.
Oh, good morning. It's it's about 8:30 in the morning. A little bit misty, as you can see. But yeah, today I've got Dave from I-111 coming round, and he's going to give me a lift to Luria because we've found a car. So I went to see it yesterday, but yesterday was a bank holiday or a public holiday here. Government offices and things like that were closed for the day. Now, in Portugal, what you have to do is when you buy a car, unlike the UK where you just send the logbook off, you have to actually go to a registry office and register the transfer of ownership. It's a simple form. It costs €65, which the buyer normally pays, but it's a single page form. You both fill it in with your names and addresses, ID, things like that, and then that just transfers ownership over. Technically you can do it afterwards, but you're then liable for anything that happens in the meantime. So if the buyer goes through red lights or something like that, you're the one that will get the fine. So it's worth doing right. Dave's going to pick us up in about half an hour or so. We're going to run down to Luria. We'll try and get a bit of the trip and a little bit of where we go in Luria, and then we'll show you the car. Right, this is where we've arranged to meet, at solicitors, and here's Dave and Jen.
Hi.
Thank you very much for giving us a lift.
You're welcome, mate.
On this lovely rainy day.
We could shoot off, but we're
We want to.
curious to see what it's all about. So,
No problem. Right, we're just waiting for the guy to turn up now.
Okay.
Oh no, no. Maybe you're not allowed to.
Pronto, está lá, vamos começar
So,
de coisas,
yeah.
filtros de ar, ou seja,
Filters or yeah.
Sim, 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 falaste muitas coisas que. Pronto. Compressor foi comprado novo do.
Well, we got back safely. Yeah, drove fine. It's a 1.6 turbocharged diesel, so it's got a nice bit of power. The total price was €3,500. That didn't include the transfer fee, because in Portugal, when you sell a car, it's not like in the UK where you just send a logbook off. You have to actually register it, and you have to go to either solicitors or conservatory, I think it's called. But anyway, it's an official form. You fill it out. It costs €65, and they send it all off, and then you get a little card, like an equivalent of a logbook, about 3 weeks later. Reason we went for likes of a Picasso, basically we wanted something that was a bit higher off the ground. Not so much for ground clearance, but for knee clearance. Just easier to get in and out of, mainly getting out of. We both have sort of a bit of mobility issues, so this just makes it a bit easier because the seats are higher. In Portugal, the road tax system basically had an overhaul in 2007, and he went from charging just based on the cylinder capacity of the engine to an emissions system. The cut-off date for that is June 2007, and this is May 2007. So after June, this would have cost €195 a year in tax. Because it's in May 2007, it's €45 a year. So there's a saving. Plus it's diesel. Now diesel here is roughly 20 cents per litre cheaper than petrol. Plus you get more miles to the gallon. And I prefer to work on diesels, to be honest, anyway. They're just a bit easier. Yeah, we're very happy with it. It's not perfect by any means. We'll do a few little niggly bits just to clean it up, but basically it's ready to go. Anyway, thank you for following along, and yeah, we'll have to get on with some proper work now. See you later. Right, you join me in the living room next to the fire. This is much better. It's much warmer than it was last year. Right, just before we start on the work in Diane's bedroom, just want to take a minute to talk about next week's video. Anybody watched last week's episode will probably know that I've got my second interview with IMA, the Immigration Authority in Lisbon next week. So we're going to go down and we're going to stay for a few days. But what I wanted to say was, if anybody's got any questions about the immigration process, we'll do our best to try and answer them while we're there. We'll dedicate the video to the D7 visa, which is the way that we got our sort of access to the country. We'll do a rundown of all the requirements, but if there's anything specific you want to know, I don't know, what type of income you need, or where you apply, or anything you want to know, just put a question in the comments and we'll try and integrate it into the video itself. So I've got to leave this nice warm fire now and go and work in a cold bedroom. So I'll see you later. So that's the car sorted. Yeah, really pleased with that. I think I got a bit of a bargain, so we're happy. And Dan's made up with it. A bit more comfort. It's really nice to be in a non-rattly vehicle that will actually go up hills without having to change down into second gear, you know, that type of thing. But anyway, so back to work. In this room now, we've got to the point where we want to start building the walls back up. We've got some bits with the electrics we've got, and that's not really a big deal. But what we have got, which is a major problem, is the bases of the walls. I'll show you now. Yeah, so these are where the skirting boards have been taken out. Now obviously when the house was built, he put the skirting boards in first and then he rendered on top of them. Odd choice, but there you go. I don't know if you can see how deep they are. They're about inch and a half, and they go around most of the room. There's some bits that don't have them, like the wooden wall parts. They're nice and sort of quite close, they can just be done with plaster. But all the bits where it has a stone wall, such as here and here, they need doing. Yesterday, I didn't do it on camera, but I've also levelled off these areas just with some sand and cement. It doesn't have to be dead neat, it's all going to be tiled over, it's just to bring it up to the same level as the floor. There's that one, and then there's these little bits by the door. We've previously done the bit directly in front of the door. So what we're going to use on them is what's called a rebocco, which is a sand, cement and lime mixture that's pre-mixed. You just add water and you can get interior and exterior. The interior is basically just finer grain, but it will work for either. And it's good for, in the UK, we would probably use undercoat or browning plaster, which is, it's plaster with like granules in it that gives it more body. So this does the same sort of thing, or like an internal render. So what we'll do, we'll fill those gaps up just to the level of the wall where it is now, and then afterwards we'll skim the whole wall just with plaster and give one flat surface. We are going to be putting tiles up the wall as a skirting board, so the very bottom of it doesn't matter too much as long as it's reasonably flat. Right, let's get on with it. Alright, first thing we need to do is get some water on it. Using a bucket trowel, just get lumps of it and throw it on the wall. Right, that's as much as I need to do. Oh, knackering, bend it over. When that sets off, I'll smooth it down a little bit, but I'm going to actually be plastering from the floor right up, so that is just to support the plaster. Right, let's get some more done. by next day, and this has sort of gone hard, it'll stay fairly soft for a few days. So just take a trowel and just all you're doing there is just taking off any high points that you might have left. See the way it sort of scrapes off quite easily? Great for carving a corner like that. And that's it, that's ready now for plastering when we get to it. I'll just do the other section that we did yesterday, and then we're done. That's it. Right, so that's all the bottoms of the walls done. We can put a skin coat on there. Before we do that, we will have to, this is a bit I've built up, Dan got the line plaster off. So I've roughly filled them. We'll put a thin layer on this just to bring it up to the same level as the rest of the wall. And this bit where they're blocked in, we'll do the same. So that we've got one layer that we can do a smooth, thin skim on. We'll only be putting, say, 3 to 5 millimeters of plaster on, so it needs to be fairly close to start with. But when we do this, we'll do the whole of this, bring it up to the level of the wall, and we won't worry too much about it, we'll just get it flat. Anyway, I think that's it for this week. I've got to start editing this video now, so we're running out of time again. Yeah, it's been fairly eventful because, I mean, it took 2 days to sort the car out, while with going to see it sorted out and then going back to pick it up and do the paperwork and stuff like that. So for this week, I'm going to finish it here and I'll see you again next week. Keep the questions and the comments coming. It's brilliant to hear from you all. So, see you again soon. Bye now. Yeah, the total price was €3,500. Yeah, you got it down a little bit, but yeah. No, that's not right. Right, we've got the car all sorted and cleaned and blah 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 blah. Try again. Yeah, we've got the oh, look at the size of my hand on that. Right, do that without moving my hands. Dogs? I do it inside the house and I still get dogs. Anyway, okay, right. I'd like to take this moment in the middle of the video to sort of... Oh, hands!
Sit on your hands.
Yeah, but their stomachs like that. They look massive. Anybody who watched last week's video will probably know that we've got our appointment for our interview in Lisbon next week. No, we haven't. I've got the appointment. In the meantime, I'm roasting on this side, and hairs are burning off of it. And we'll make a video just about the D7, which is the visa process that we went on. We'll do